Hello! Depending on where you want to go to teach English abroad, it's going to have different requirements that you need to fulfill before you can get there, and the benefits that you receive are going to be different. Most of that is going to be based on the country you're going to, so be sure to do your research ahead of time. And to kickstart that off, I'm going to give you a breakdown on what is required to enter a bunch of different countries, so stick around. Alright, first things first, bachelor's degree. I'm personally starting here at university getting my bachelor's degree because it's not required in all countries. What? No, it's not required, but even if it's not required, it's going to be highly preferred, and it is required in a lot of places. And that's just going to give you a one-up on competition. If it's not, if you have a bachelor's degree, then you're going to be already at the top of their list. Also important to note that the money you make is not based on whether or not you have a bachelor's degree. It's more based on where you're going. Quick example, in Indonesia, you can make $700 to $1,100 US dollars with a bachelor's degree. Yeah. Or you could go to China and without a bachelor's degree make roughly $1,200 to $2,800. Again, US dollars. Do your research. Know where you're going, know that you can afford where you're going, know what you're gonna get. Also, another reason to get a bachelor's degree is the field of English teaching is growing massively. More and more people are discovering that this is an opportunity and taking advantage of it in the same way that I am and that maybe you want to. And so I think it's really important to get a one-up on the competition before the competition gets any more competitive. It's also really bright, so I'm squinting a lot. Ugh. First stop is Asia. Roughly 1/3 of Asia does not require a bachelor's degree for you to teach English there. Those countries are Cambodia, Laos, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Malaysia. 2/3 of Asia does require a bachelor's degree, and that would include Hong Kong, Indonesia, Japan, Myanmar, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, and Vietnam. Taiwan may also accept an associate's degree though, so there's that. Also, to get into the country, you might need a visa. For most of those countries within Asia, it's going to need to be a work visa prepared in advance. But some of them will allow you to take a tourist visa, which you just have, usually, as being a US citizen. Not for all countries, keep in mind, but for a lot of countries, you are just pre-given a 90-day tourist visa just for being a US citizen, which is one of the best parts of being a US citizen, in my personal opinion, being able to leave the US. But that's another video. So, of the countries that you can do that and convert the tourist visa to a work visa, it's Cambodia, China, Laos, and Vietnam. Readjust. Latin America. If you want to go here, actually most countries don't require a bachelor's degree, so really good place to start, actually. And on top of that, you can convert your tourist visa to a work visa in almost all the countries. There's only 2 that I know of that need a work visa ahead of time, and that's Ecuador and Mexico. So otherwise, you're good to go for Latin America. Europe! There's an umbrella shade here, so I can at least see. If you're looking to go to Europe, you're gonna need a bachelor's degree. The half that you do not need a bachelor's degree includes Georgia, Germany, Romania, Russia, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Spain. And most of those you also can get away with not being an EU citizen, but in Spain you do need to be an EU citizen and you have to speak English as a native or pass a test that says you basically speak as a native. Anyways, of the countries that do require you to have a bachelor's degree, we're gonna have Czech Republic, Croatia, France, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Lithuania, Poland, Portugal, Turkey, and Ukraine. Of those countries, you're going to have to be an EU citizen for the most part. The only ones that are any exception to that are going to be Hungary and the Czech Republic. Everything else must have a bachelor's degree and must be an EU citizen. Looking at you, all of my UK buddies. Also in Europe, you can pretty much always convert a tourist visa to a work visa, so that's pretty nice. It's not something you have to worry about ahead of time. You could easily travel to the EU, and then convert that. Regarding the Middle East, as well as North Africa, you're pretty much going to need a bachelor's degree. There are two exceptions, Jordan and Lebanon. And also you could convert your your tourist visa to your work visa pretty easily. So like that's not a problem. But furthermore, a lot of places in both South Africa and the Middle East are going to want a master's degree even, so they go above and beyond. These countries are going to include Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Egypt, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. Super sorry if I just butchered any of those country names. So the ones that do just require a bachelor's degree are going to be Turkey, Morocco, and Israel. And only Morocco and Israel are going to allow you to convert your tourist visa to your work visa. Otherwise, all the other countries are going to need a visa in advance. Now, after you figured out both where you can go physically, whether you have the degree required or not, and what the visa situation looks like, there's still a lot more to consider. So obviously salary, it's going to vary from country to country, but even beyond that, are they going to pay your flight, your airfare to get to that country or not? Some places do, some places don't. Once you're there and you're living there, are they going to pay any part of your housing? Is it going to be completely free, just subsidized, or is that 100% on you to figure out? What are the interview procedures? Believe it or not, a lot of places require you to go and have a face-to-face interview, which means you have to get yourself to a country and then you don't even have a guaranteed job. It's just an interview. While you're touring, go tour one of those countries and see if you can slip in an interview, or if you want to go interview at a country that's neighboring to the one you're working at, that's really easy once you're already overseas. What about downtime? In the US, we're pretty much used to our 3-month summer vacation, but that's not common in a lot of other countries. And if you're a teacher and expecting that, you just look it up. Don't expect that as a guarantee. What are the downtimes? Are there any, or is it a work around the year kind of job? If you're trying to travel and like using teaching as a means to travel, probably don't want to go to countries where they're just going to make you work all year long without any downtime. And last but not least, just keep in mind all of this information is changing constantly. I used resources I will link below to the best of my ability to give you the most update and accurate information that I can. But ultimately, do your research, get the information that you need to get. Think of this video as a starting place, not as an endpoint. And let me know what you find down below, if I missed anything, or if there's any other questions that I didn't answer that are things that you should think about. Make sure to comment that below. I'll see you guys next time! Hopefully in less wind